Is with me to talk about other stuff. How are you at dad dancing?
Oh, I think I qualify fully at having a go but being very bad at it.
What's going on with you and the Russians?
Nothing. I mean, do you know, we've heard this term fake news over the course of the last year or so. This is fake news. This is an attempt by a liberal media who simply can't reconcile themselves with Brexit and with Trump, desperately trying to find a reason why these terrible things happened. So, I know Donald Trump, tick. I've met Julian Assange, tick. Therefore, somehow, I must be at the epicentre of some sort of spider's web of Russian conspiracy. And I want to say this. I've never been to Russia. I've never done any business in Russia. I've never had a Russian bank account. I have no Russian political connections whatsoever. This is simply hysterical nonsense.
OK, so liberal media, what about the liberal FBI? Because it's the FBI, isn't it, who said that you're a person of interest? No,
a journalist rings up the FBI who neither confirm or deny that I'm a person of interest. So the whole thing is rubbish.
OK, so you're not in any way anxious that the FBI are going to give you a tug and say, come and talk to us about your connections, not necessarily with Russia, but with people who are part or have been part of the Trump regime who may or may not have connections with Russia?
Well, if you say, did I meet somebody in a bar once who'd been to Russia, the answer might be yes. No, look, this is ridiculous. It's absolutely, completely ridiculous. I have and never have had any business or political connections with Russia whatsoever.
OK, so you're not in any way concerned that you might have a bit of a tug from the FBI?
No,
that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen.
Of course it's not going to happen.
Even though you were quite close with Mr Trump. Have you spoken to Mr Trump about it?
Hang on.
Have you spoken to him about it?
The fact that I supported Trump's
campaign... You were on the plane. You almost got whiplash in your neck how quick you were over to have a chat with him as soon as he won.
I know people around Donald Trump and I'm a supporter of him and what he's trying to do. But that has nothing to do with me being connected to the Russians. I'm not. And yes, I did once meet Julian Assange, all right? But that was something that was set up and organised by LBC Radio with a view to me doing an interview. And that's the end of it.
Have you spoken to Mr Trump about it?
Do you know something? I have a feeling that given in 3 or 4 hours' time he will announce America's decision on whether it's staying part of the Paris Treaty. He's got rather more important things to do.
So that's a no?
Well, of course not.
OK. While I've got you there, I want to ask you about something else. And you were talking about Mr Nigel, who, as you know, is in charge of UKIP at the moment. 6 weeks ago, on the 20th of April, 6 weeks ago today, you said he's got 6 weeks to prove himself, hasn't he? It's just as simple as that. This is it. He's got 6 weeks to prove himself.
Absolutely right. And it was the same for everybody. Theresa May clearly is bombing. I mean, she's had a disastrous 6 weeks. Jeremy Corbyn, I think, has had a relatively good 6 weeks. I mean, expectations were low. He's clearly out there campaigning and really having a ball. I think what you've seen from Nuttall, as the weeks have gone by, is somebody who is absolutely strong in his convictions, refuses to be shouted down, and putting out some messages and markers that will, over the course of the next couple of years, become very important.
So he has proved himself and he should
I think stay. I very much hope so. Yes, I do, honestly.
OK. As far as your party is concerned, though, the high watermark was when you were involved during the EU referendum. It's toast now, isn't it? And all the people who voted UKIP are going to go to the Tories, primarily the Tories, but potentially some Labour voters as well.
All I can say is this. However well or badly UKIP do in a week's time, the fact that it's the only party genuinely committed to our proper withdrawal from the European Union, to the Brexit voters getting what they wanted, that it's the only party who even wants to talk about tackling radical jihadism and its growth in this country. I think if Theresa May's record, let's assume she wins, if Theresa May's record in the next 2 years is as good on Brexit as it was as Home Secretary on immigration and dealing with radicalism, then you will see UKIP in 2 years' time, perhaps bigger than it ever was before.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Come on.
Do you know, I've heard all this before. I've heard about high watermarks for UKIP 3 or 4 times over the last 15 years. UKIP is a different political party. It is based, you're quite right, around 2 or 3 very big issues. May has attempted on those issues to take on that mantle. And she has, for now, it would appear, taken a chunk of UKIP voters with her. But she's also raised levels of expectation. Okay. If she doesn't deliver, then UKIP's back in business
I'd
in a
love
very
to talk
big
to
way.
you for a long time, but we've only got 15 seconds left on the programme. If you had to have either Mr Corbyn or Mrs May as the next Prime Minister, which one do you want?
Oh, has to be May, because because she's committed, she says, to the Brexit process.
Okay,
Corbyn would have the SNP backing him up.
Continuing coverage on Sky. Stay tuned.